Hey everyone, welcome back to In a Pinch with Hitsuzen. I'm Hitsuzen from snuffhouse.com. All names have been changed to protect the innocent. Alright. Sorry, I probably should have taken care of all that before I started the camera. For anyone who's interested, I'm smoking some frogs on the bayou in my Komoi Sunrise. She's a second, but she smokes like a first. I call her Daggett. Anyways, so I've had this idea kicking around for a while of doing, over the course of time, segments called Dangerously Strong Opinions, where I take issues that are hotly debated on the various forums across the interwebs in the realms of snuff, cigars, and pipes, and jump up on my video platform and offer my 2 cents. Because nothing says reading peace like a YouTube video, right? Anywho, so this is my first try at this. You guys let me know what you think. Feel free to open discussions in the comments or on whichever forum you happen to participate in. This being snuff related, either Snuff House, the Facebook group Nasal Snuff Takers, or the Facebook group Modern Snuff. This topic is quitting smoking with snuff. The pipe smokers out there, don't you hate when you overpack your pipe just a little bit? Every once in a while I want a pipe to last just a little bit longer, so I try to get just a little bit more in there, and then I'm fighting to get it lit well. Anywho, quitting smoking with snuff. A lot of opinions out there. I've seen this come up at least a dozen times on Snuff House, formally in the forums, and pretty much every time somebody joins Snuff House, they talk about how they're using snuff to quit cigarettes. Very few people coming on snuff right now are coming on it as their first tobacco. I think almost nobody. A number of people cross over from pipes, or indulge occasionally in between pipes. But the grand majority of people right now, it looks like on Snuff House, are trying to use snuff to quit cigarettes. Likewise on the Modern Snuff forums, the topic just recently came up as well. Has anybody had success quitting smoking with snuff? So here's my 2 cents. It really all depends on what your motivations are for quitting smoking. Is your motivation to be free of nicotine? If so, snuff is not the answer. I recommend just quitting. Don't step down, don't step ladder. Counterproductive. If you're trying to switch from cigarettes to snuff because you believe snuff to be a safer alternative, that gets tricky, in my opinion. I'm not a medical expert, just my opinion. Snuff, no doubt, is healthier, or less unhealthy, we'll say that, less unhealthy than cigarettes. I don't personally believe that there is a safe tobacco. Alright, tobacco is a hobby that we take up, hopefully aware of the risks involved with tobacco use. There are people who smoke cigarettes every day for years and 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 die of natural causes. My dad's dad was one of those. He smoked for decades and decades and decades. Other people can smoke pipes for 5 years and end up with oral cancer or throat cancer. People like to try to bill snuff as being the harmless tobacco, and I would argue that there is no such thing. First of all, nicotine is addictive. Nicotine of any kind is bad for your heart, not only elevating blood pressure, but also weakening your heart walls. I'm not convinced that there is zero cancer risk with snuff. I'm not. People will say, and it's true, that no case of cancer has ever been linked with snuff use. This is true. However, there's also never been a formal study on snuff users, at least not a long-term formal study on snuff users. The snuff users that have been tracked are snuff users who were also users of other tobaccos. It would be next to impossible to do a large group long-term study of snuff-only users who have no history of using any other form of tobacco. People argue that because you're not smoking it, you have next to no risk of cancer. I argue that as well. You don't have to physically smoke tobacco to ingest tobacco-specific nitrosamines. If you have used a snuff that has anything that was fire-cured, Latakias, Kentucky's, or flue-cured, you in fact have ingested tobacco-specific nitrosamines and have exposed yourself to carcinogens. Snuff's not safe. Are you exposing yourself to less carcinogens? Significantly so, yes. Like I said, I will say that I believe snuff to be a less unhealthy alternative to tobacco, to cigarettes by a lot. But it actually kind of irritates me when people try to bill snuff as being the harmless tobacco. There is no such thing. You are choosing to indulge in a hobby that has risks. As adults, I believe we have the right to choose to indulge in whatever hobbies we decide to indulge in, regardless of the risk it may cause to our bodies, as long as it does not cause risk to other people's bodies. Yeah, that's going to piss a lot of you guys off, but it's just true. If snuff is harmless because you don't smoke it, then dip is too. Anywho, so if your aim is to get off nicotine, just go cold turkey. If you're looking for the harmless tobacco, I don't believe it exists. The best reason to switch to snuff from cigarettes is if you want to enjoy your tobacco again. When I was smoking cigarettes and just smoking cigarettes, and to put it into context, I started smoking cigarettes, when I was 9 years old. My parents could testify I actually got suspended from 5th grade for having 2 Salem cigarettes and a lighter in my backpack. So I started smoking cigarettes young. And over the years, the cigarettes, along with some other lifestyle choices I made in my younger years, started to really take a toll on my breathing, my energy. After a period of time, yes, my libido, even cigarettes were atrocious. But beyond that, I wasn't even enjoying the tobacco anymore. It was like a crack hit. I need my nicotine now. And that's all it was a source of nicotine. The addiction was even more psychological than it was physiological. I found when I use other nicotine delivery systems and still crave this cigarette. The tobacco used in cigarettes is dry and subpar, dusted and fussed with, and it just doesn't taste good. Especially if you quit cigarettes and go back, you'll really see that they don't taste good. Snuff is a way to enjoy tobacco again. That's what I've gotten out of it. It's a way to enjoy tobacco again that doesn't offend the people around me. I also smoke cigars and I smoke pipes because they are also ways for me to enjoy tobacco again. And that's what it should be. If you're going to use tobacco, choose whether you're going to use it strictly for the nicotine or as a way to I mean, well, let's be real about it. If you're using tobacco, some part of you wants some nicotine. That's a whole other dangerously strong opinion episode that also popped up on modern snuff. But if you're lost my track of thought. When I do these in the future, I should do like bullet points. Anyways, could you use snuff to quit smoking cigarettes? Yes, if your motivation is to stay on nicotine, but enjoy your tobacco in a deeper way that doesn't offend the people around you. Yes, you can switch from cigarettes to snuff. It's not going to be easy. Even if you're getting an equitable amount of nicotine, which will be difficult with snuff, there's still the psychological, I want a cigarette. But if you're determined, you can do it. If you're trying to get off nicotine, skip snuff and just quit. Only way it's going to work. Just about guarantee that. Huh? There's a dangerously strong opinion? But that's all I got. God bless, guys. Salud.